Hello everyone, it is me, GamePenguin21, and today, well, I said I was going to do it, and this time I'm actually sticking to my schedule. And that being that today we're going to be talking about Blade. Now, again, just as a quick recap, Blade itself is a game that was announced at the Game Awards via Xbox made by Arcane Studios, or at least it's being made by Arcane Studios. Currently there is as much gameplay and as much of a trailer on it as the original, Wolverine PlayStation game that's supposedly coming out. Though unsure, again, if that one's going to be exclusive. It might be, I don't know. Not a lot of information to go off, because I am not the most informed, but I try to remain as informed as possible. As far as I am aware right now, currently that the PlayStation is having the Wolverine be exclusive, with Blade not being exclusive, supposedly, but it's very hard because it's, again, very early on in development. But, of course, with it being an Xbox game, the PlayStation fanboys had to come out and be like the little shits that they can tend to be sometimes. So, we're going to read through some of their tweets because I think it's funny and because, well, I need some content for this. Current thing is I'm not going to be uploading on Christmas, just so we're aware here. That's going to be my Christmas gift to you because I'm going to take that day off. I will be uploading a thing Thursday that is more of just my regular gameplay compilation, so no commentary that week. But I will be having some video, a video out Christmas week. Not sure if I'm going to put it on Christmas or after Christmas. Probably after Christmas, unless something big happens and I have to talk about it. In any case, let's get started. So, we're starting out, of course, with the good old-fashioned J-Dub man, with Arcane Studios is making Marvel's Blade. Arcane Studios also made Redfall, including, but J-Dub, it was a B team, with them making a whole bunch of these tweet things. And I'll be clear here, while I don't have the greatest faith in Arcane Studios after Redfall at the very least, my personal thing is that Redfall itself did not seem to have a cohesive vision even when it was starting. And how do we know this? Well, we can tell because the developers fucking told us. That's one of the biggest things and why I think Redfall was as bad as it was. Because Redfall is not a great game, but Redfall itself was a game that just didn't have the vision to come together, and it was bad managing that made it be as bad as it was. And, of course, then J-Dub had to follow that up with a good old Redfall Blade Edition with the whole bunch of the hashtags of all of the other consoles, because apparently, again, since they didn't announce it as an Xbox exclusive, then it's not an Xbox exclusive, even though Xbox has been releasing stuff on Xbox Game Pass, Xbox regular thing, and the PC all at once, day one stuff. It might not be the kind of exclusive that you would be talking about. JVB then has a yikes Blade in the hands of Arcane with the Jim Carrey clip of him fake vomiting or something like that. And again, I understand the sentiment. I understand that it's just a little bit of a because they have lost a lot of faith in it. But again, to me, right now, is that I am judging it based upon the preconceived notion that they will do better and that they will actually have a cohesive writing staff this time. That they actually have a cohesive vision. They can nail that down right now to make sure that it works. But overall, I don't know. Again, being wary is different than being upset about this. So, yeah, I don't think that you should really, emphasize and say, oh, this is automatically going to be bad. At least have some speculation, but at least have some positivity in this. Just saying. Anyway, next up we've got the You Love to Hate with after Redfall, the bar Insomniac set for Marvel games is about to I am misreading this so hard. The bar Insomniac set for Marvel games is about to blunt force trauma these devs. That sentence, which again, I don't think so, because they dropped the bar pretty low, and most people nowadays, even in just Marvel in general, have basically just entirely dropped the ball because of the fact that Marvel itself has become a little bit seemingly oversaturated. That whole thing about, oh, well, these guys, they set this bar super high, and just because it's a PlayStation exclusive and stuff is for that reason. And again, it got solid scores across the board, but I only see it as, like, okay. I think that DC is better, at least in terms of video games, and specifically, I mean, the Arkham games are better than some of the Marvel games that even have recently been released. The one game that I'm looking kind of skeptical at right now is the I don't even know if I can say it, the Squad game, the new upcoming Squad, the Unalive, the Justice League. That's what I mean. That game looks kind of meh. Next up, we've got someone retweeting that Blade is better than Wolverine. Argue with Yo Mama. That's just really funny. With it then, Bud thinks Arcane can compete with Insomniac. Laugh or crying emoji times 3. Sir, yes. I think that Insomniac isn't as good as you think it is. And I'm a kind of guy who actually liked Insomniac. And I do like Insomniac as a developer. They're fine. They released Sunset Overdrive, one of my personal favorite games of the last gen, at least. Not the best, obviously. It still has its faults and stuff, absolutely. But it was still fun to play, and it had an air of energeticness to it that we will never probably see. It was experimental, which is why I also this year liked Hi-Fi Rush, because it was experimental. It was weird. It was interesting, and a lot of people liked it. So, yeah. So next up here is a little bit of a bunch of tweets that I happen to have found, starting off with the Next Gen Player with a Marvel's Blade by Bethesda and Arcane Leon. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Has no platforms mentioned in the trailer and press release. Strange. With someone then saying that they brought up a screenshot with as Arcane Leon is an Xbox studio, Marvel's Blade will be exclusive to Xbox Series S and Windows PC and will launch day one on Xbox Game Pass, with Hunter then coming back and saying, I don't really believe that. Now, again, I agree. I think that in this context, yes, it is a little bit weird that they didn't announce any platforms or anything like that, because I think they assumed that platform sort of stuff would work. But again, if this has been confirmed to be an Xbox exclusive, which it probably will, though I don't put it past them to be like, it's not at all like bad, and that it will be released everywhere, which I think is fine and actually means that Xbox is kind of keeping their word of making it case by case in this context. But yeah. Next up, of course, we've got Cult Eastwood with Indiana Jones, Starfield, and Elder Scrolls 6 announced before Bethesda Xbox acquisition. Exclusive. Marvel's Blade 2 announced after Bethesda Xbox acquisition. Everyone is questioning it. And yeah, again, they said that they would take it by a case-by-case basis, so they might say that this doesn't have the pull to get the numbers that they might want for whatever reason. Now, again, I don't dissuade the fact that there is going to be an exclusive. I expect it to be, but at this point, there is not a lot of information to go off of, which is also why I'm very skeptical about the Marvel's Wolverine game for PlayStation. Because again, this is different, and I'm not like I'm talking about the actual, you know what I mean in this context. I need to continue on because I don't want to make this video too much longer, for that. Next up, we've got, now we're going on more to the Xbox side, because that was kind of the transfer over, where Pony's gonna act like they don't like Blade now. So exciting. Which, I mean, to be fair, Blade was never the most popular game, anything for Marvel, really. I mean, I will say this. The movies are fantastic. They do work for the most part. Blade as a character is really good. I'm not dissing Blade at all. And let me be clear here. Blade is a fucking great character, and even great movies as well. Like collection. I think there was like 2 or 3 movies in total. But he does a fantastic job of it. But to be fair, Blade was also made during a time when Marvel wasn't doing the best. But at the same time, like, again, it's very picky to kind of talk about it, because I like Blade. Blade is a good person, a great character, a great archetype. Everything about Blade is fantastic. But at the end of the day, right, Blade is not the best pull for some people. I guess I don't know where I was going with that statement, but I agree. It's going to be a lot of people pretending like, oh, Blade's going to be really bad. Then we got Microsoft made Starfield, The Elder Scrolls 6, and Indiana Jones exclusive, but they won't make Blade exclusive as well. Good luck. And again, that's one of the things why I'm questioning this, is because they might not, because Marvel has more of the sway over the actual thing, and they have a lot of money, even though Microsoft is a money printer. And that's why people are questioning this. But again, I don't think that it's the end of the world if it's the case. Next up, we got up and down my timeline is Xbox with new games and saltiness from fanboys who are begging yet again for Xbox games. I thought Arcane was trash for that Redfall game. Now y'all crying for Marvel's Blade? Cry some more. And, yeah, again, it's literally like watching petty children just kind of, I don't know. It's weirdly entertaining in a stupid, dumb way, which I find really hilarious. Next up, we got, had this queued up for you, FN, with Blade, and then it's a whole clip of, like, Blade finding one of the people, and him being, like, labeled with Xbox stuff, and it was, like, PlayStation stuff on the other side. It's a very weird clip. I'm not going to subject you to it. Just know that it's very petty, but also very kind of salty at the same time. And it's just the scene in which he finds, like, the blob monster, or the blob creature in one of the movies of Blade, which, again, is just really something. Next up, we've got PlayStation Universe with a rumor that Blade is not exclusive to Xbox formats, claims ex-Sony dev, which totally doesn't sound at all biased. Like, no way is that biased at all. But like this statement being made by an ex-Sony dev. Oh no. Totally a reliable source. We gotta burn the bridges now. And he's like, well. My brother Postub stepped in the poo yet again. We need to get the GitHub guru to answer for this. And again, this is just a rumor, by the way. Which, let me be clear here. All of the ponies, all of the time, have said, don't trust rumors when it comes to Xbox things. But as soon as it's positive and a rumor, or positive, I guess, and a rumor towards PlayStation, or a rumor that's negative towards PlayStation, has to be specific here. It's like, I don't believe the rumors. But as soon as it's negative towards Xbox, oh, this rumor is 100% true and 100% factual. It's happened. It happens, people. It's stupid, and it's dumb. Yeah. I think to kind of finish off this video a little bit more, we've got some extra salt for you. These are just a couple extra tweets that could not fit into the first video and also could not fit into this video. section nicely, so we'll just continue on with a little bit of the Red Dragon, because everyone loves the Red Dragon, where he says Xbox fans are melting down because the vast majority of these Xbox games have not mentioned it being exclusive to the Xbox Game Awards. With this one was actually mentioning and talking about talking about Marvel's Blade, where it says, imagine you announce a new Marvel game on a huge stage, one of the best announcements of the whole show, which it kind of was, only to be afraid to connect it with your own Xbox brand at all costs. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Xbox. I can't sometimes. And wow, that sounds so petty and so dumb, because maybe they want to bring the community together rather than, separate and section it out, because they've been doing that for fucking years. And it's worked, absolutely, but it's really fucking stupid to assume that sort of thing would happen. Anyway, we got some of the PS5 have compelling lineup exclusive content over the coming month. Hashtags PlayStation owners good, with a whole list of a bunch of this stuff. And let me just be clear, some of these look fine. Like, for example, the God of War DLC looks pretty okay. The Echoes of the Fallen Final Fantasy 16, which actually released fairly soon after the Game Awards as well, according to this. We then got The Last of Us 2 Remastered, or The Last of Us 2 Complete Scam, kind of. Then we got, Grandable Fantasy Relink. I don't even know what that is. Helldivers 2, which is actually a multi-plat and available on PC at the same time. Pacific Drive, I've never heard of this. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I think had a 3-month exclusive contract rather than anything else, meaning that it might come to other platforms later down the line. With the Rise of the Ronin in March, which I think is also not an exclusive and released on PC. I don't know specifically. But yeah, absolutely. PlayStation people eating good because all of these games here. One remastered, a couple of DLCs with a couple of games that aren't even exclusive, and some of them that are only fine. Absolutely eating fantastically. Because I would go back to You Love to Hate, who's retweeting from The Made Gamer. I prefer an independent and healthy creative and a free #Bungie releasing on all platforms than a Sony-controlled first-party shell of its former self, like 343. Which, I don't even know if 343 was ever not an exclusive to Microsoft, because I think that they built it up from that. But, yeah. And then he retweets it with, me no play games nowhere else, which I could easily say about any one of these PlayStation guys, where they don't actually play games, they play Twitter. They also, play this sort of game of nothing and only play on their one platform, and only sometimes, because it's really, really stupid. Yeah. So next up with this is a clip from the Game Awards where they were talking and announcing about the Blade stuff, but I didn't want to put it into the actual Blade section because this is a clip where he is supposedly says a pretty hard R word. However, the community note states that he mispronounced the person's word. I'm not going to re-say the word. I'm fairly certain you can understand it if you've seen this clip going around. So I'm not going to say the word at all. I'm not even going to mention it, and I think we're just going to move on from there. So, yeah. Next up, we've got J-Dub with Who Did This? From Hellblade 1 to Hellblade 2. It's like, oh, it's the same game. I mean, it's ironic to me that the PlayStation guys are talking about it like this, because isn't most of their games just the same thing reskinned? Like, for example, Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon Zero Dawn. Isn't that the same game, technically? God of War Ragnarok. It's almost like, right, a sequel is more of the same game that you were playing originally, and that game, if it was good to get a sequel, was actually doing great. So yeah. And then finally we have the Red Dragon with an, oh no, these people were supposed to save Starfield. Whereas the dev behind the massive Skyrim multiplayer mod turns their hands to Starfield and gives up and says this game is trash, and uploads everything for everyone else, for someone else to finish. Where he says, I'm not going to put my heart and soul into a mod for a game as mediocre as this. Which, understandable if that's you as a mod person, and you wanted to do this. And again, I'm not even sure if this is true. It might not be. It might just be someone taking the piss and someone doing something stupid about it. But if that is the case, I understand if you feel that way. And, I mean, hey, Starfield is pretty mid, in my personal opinion, so I do agree that it is, but it's a fun mid. It's the kind of mid that's like Call of Duty in its mid-prime. That it's like a Call of Duty 2019. It's that kind of mid, where it's very mid, but I still find some fun in it, personally. I haven't played Call of Duty, so yeah. Anyway, but I think that'll about do it for this episode of I Ran Into a Microphone for a tax break. If you like what it is that I do and want to see me do more or support me financially, even though your viewership is enough, links to everything down in the description below. That being my Patreon, the Bandcamp, the Gumroad. Go out there, do that sort of stuff if you really want to. In any case, my name is GamePenguin21. Holy shit, there's a lot of salt flinging around through today. And a peace off.
Hey man, can I get a favor?